But I've never met Paul until this morning. I don't feel adequate to the task of introducing this gentleman who's distinguished himself in Albemarle County and the Commonwealth. I would ask that Bernie Greer come up here and perform this introduction for me.
And I just want to ask you to extend a very warm Albemarle welcome home to the Honorable Paul C. Harris.
Good morning. First, I want to thank Bernie for that very warm and personal introduction. Very nice words. I am struck that you remember all of that. But I do appreciate the kind words you've had to say. And I want to thank all of you for coming out to the breakfast this morning. It's always a special joy and privilege to come home, to be in the place where your roots are, to be in the place where people first loved you, to be amongst those who have supported you politically and otherwise through the years. And on this Mother's Day weekend, I am filled with emotions thinking about my own mother who passed away in 2001, and fondly remembering all of the valuable life lessons that she taught me, that so many of you in this room had shared with me over the years. So it's a real privilege for me to be here. And I would like to begin, if I could, this morning by asking everyone just to take a few moments to say a silent prayer for the family of the Albemarle student that was tragically killed in a car accident, I believe it was yesterday. So if we could just bow our heads for a few moments. Amen. Well, there's so many folks that I would need to thank and acknowledge this morning, and to do it all would be quite an enormous task and would probably chew up most of my time. But I want to start with acknowledging Bessie Burkhead, who's one of my very first and earliest supporters when I decided to run for the House of Delegates back in '96 is when I actually decided to run. And Bessie has been a very strong supporter politically, personally, and in so many other ways. A very special person to me. So I want to acknowledge Bessie. Bill and Joe Vigilone. Joe, of course, was my legislative aide, but she and Bill have become so much more over the years. I am a Catholic today in large measure because of the extraordinary example that I think Bill and Joe set as Catholics. And faith has always been important to me, and when I see people of faith in action, living out their faith, helping others, going through life with a smile, and having a cheerful word to say, it makes an impact. So I want to obviously thank Bill and Joe for being here. Pat Earl's been there from the beginning, Bernie, Bob, Tucker, who's hiding back there, and so many others. I'd be here all day, Caroline, and everybody else. Just know that Keith Drake, I'm going to stop looking. I want to thank everybody for all of the support and encouragement that you've given me over the years. I grew up here in Charlottesville, and sometime around the 4th grade, I decided that I wanted to maybe be a politician someday in life. I was raised, my mother raised 3 of us as a single parent, and we would go to church very often on Sundays at different churches in Albemarle County. Our home church was Rose Hill Baptist Church in Albemarle County, but we would go to churches in Crozet and Esmont and Earlysville and all over the county. And I would always encounter old folks who were always willing to share some advice with me, Chris, and they would say, when you grow up, get yourself a suit and tie job. So now I actually like wearing a suit and tie, which is why I have one on this morning. But it's more than just putting on a suit and tie. It's a way of me sort of honoring those who saw something in me that perhaps I didn't see in myself at a young age. But I didn't know what they meant when they say get a suit and tie job. No one bothered really to explain that to me. There weren't any men in my neighborhood that wore suits and ties. There weren't very many men in my neighborhood, fathers anyway. But I delivered newspapers on Saturday mornings, the Daily Progress. And in 4th grade, there was headlines and news stories almost on a daily basis about this thing called Watergate. And I used to ask a lot of questions when I was a kid. Some folks I asked too many questions. But I wanted to know who these people were in these pictures with suits and ties on and that were trying to throw the president out of office. And that's what folks had in mind when they told me to get a suit and tie job. It turns out that they had something else in mind, but that was my only point of reference. And so I started to talk to my 4th grade teacher, Dan Parks, at Greenbrier Elementary School about politics. And it was very inspiring, very encouraging. And I decided then maybe that's what I want to do with my life. And I would ask him, what do I have to do to become a politician? He would explain that a lot of politicians were lawyers. A great many of them had served in the military. So I just sort of thought maybe that's the way I need to plan out my future course of action. And that's essentially what I did.
The Albemarle Republicans meet for breakfast at 8:30 a.m. on the second Saturday of each month at the Golden Corral Steakhouse on Route 29 North next to the main post office. Join us for breakfast or visit us at www.albemarlegop.org. Give us a call at 434-973-5499 or send an email to info@albemarlegop.org. albemarleGOP.org.